All right, well, let's get some siding up on the wall. What do you say?
Yes, sir.
We're going to start with lap siding. We've got some stuff already prepped on the wall. Help us understand what we've got going on here.
So first thing, you want to put up all your trim. If you're using two-piece trim like in your soffits or like we did here for this transition, you want your starter and then your receivers and all your trim up first.
Well, so speaking of, they're going to be fastening this. Is there a specific fastening pattern and their location of the fastener?
So we give you a pretty large gap for or I should say nail slot. It's a little over 2 inches. It's not because it moves like that.
Okay.
That's for air and framing. It isn't maybe right on 16-inch on center if you want to hit a stud. If you're going into a subwall with 7/16 OSB or plywood, you don't have to hit a stud.
So we've got space as it expands and contracts for it to slide back and forth.
Yep.
And then, like this corner has got a pretty nice pocket in it. By the way, I absolutely love your corners. Outside corner seems straightforward. It's big, it's beautiful. We fasten it, looks gorgeous. So what happens now, I've got a nice long run, 30-foot wall. My siding doesn't come in 30-foot lengths, and I've got to marry two pieces together.
Right. So you can see here they're coming up to where they're doing a butt joint.
Okay.
So it is a butt joint. There is a joint there. But what we've done is we came up with a bracket system. And it's very easy. The bracket, I don't know if you have one on hand.
We're going to borrow Nick's bracket.
Borrow Nick's bracket. Hey, Nick. Gotcha. So this is what we call our seam bracket. The seam bracket used to be a few years ago, you'd have loose screws in a box with a stainless steel bracket. These are corrosion-free screws and bracket. But now we took and we incorporated preloaded screws. And that bracket's going to hold that seam tight, and now it all becomes one course. Everything moves as one, so you're not playing around with gaps.
So this is pretty slick how it makes it into one piece, and the
Right.
movement is identical across the system. We're not worried about that potentially opening
Correct.
up.
With the Easy Stack technology, the way that stacks on,
Yep.
you just get it on there, set it down, take your hands off, and fasten. Lap siding goes horizontal, right? So the board and batten is a vertical application. Our horizontal our lap siding is around 1/4 inch thick. Board and batten's a little thicker than that. It's also got the integral batten, so you don't have to attach a batten to a wooden panel. So it's all coming as one. It's got a nice little interlock. You're going to do all of your expansion contraction you want to go up. So what you'll do, because you want that nice sight line at the bottom, so you'll find out where you want your sight line if you want a balanced wall.
Awesome. And then now this particular house, we've got a client, they wanted to have 2 different colors, first floor, second floor.
Yep.
And with the board and batten, unlike the lap siding, we're not going to take a metal
There's no
connection
bracket,
and
no.
extend that.
You can't stack these two directly on top of each other because of water management. You want to make sure everything's. So what we do is we recommend you do some kind of transition. So we've developed, you can use a J pocket trim, you can use the perimeter trim, or we have what we call our T-molding, which is basically designed for doing an expansion joint.
Okay.
So expansion joints typically are what you're doing when you have extremely long wall system.
Yep.
So if you're over 60 feet length, you're going to look at wanting to control that expansion and contraction somehow. So expansion joint's one way to do it, but what's nice, the T-molding comes in all 15 colors, and it snaps in last. So what you're going to do is you can control your siding now where you can split that wall up in half. So let's just say it's a 70-foot wall somewhere around 35 feet. You want to put an expansion joint here for the transition, but that gives you kind of a cleaner look for a transition on a wall, break on a wall.
Got it.